All right, we are back. We got our bumper mostly put together. We're missing a couple of these. And what did I do with it? Oh yeah, I stuck it in the drawer. We are missing, we need 8 of these and we're missing 7. Because they fasten the filler piece onto here. We need to get those. I don't know where they're at. We did the valve adjustment again for the second time, and I don't know what I did the first time, but every single one of them was like insanely loose. So we've got it all set good now. But the only problem now I'm having is my alternator is not charging. I don't know why. Makes no sense. So I've got this alternator. It came off this engine over here that was in James's white hatch. This was the original engine that was in his hatch that I did the B16 swap in. He gave me this engine because, you know, he just doesn't need it. It's a D15. Nobody really cares about these engines. It's a dual point. You know, he's like, whatever. Plus, it needs a head gasket. I figured I'd take it and put a head gasket on it, clean it up, and sell it. But I salvaged the alternator that was on it because I'm pretty sure that was good. I'm not sure if the video will be out or if it'll be out next, but I did get my tack to work. I swapped that, just that section with, anyway, I swapped that from EX sedan cluster, and that was a pretty easy job. I have a whole video on that. Like I said, I don't know if that will be out first before this video. I don't know. So right now, I just want to focus on the alternator, get that put in, and hopefully it'll charge my battery. I also didn't mention I got my bumper back together, my RTI. I mean, it's all the same. I've got a video on how to convert your bumper to an RTI bumper. It's pretty much the same. I still got to find the little pieces for here. I don't know what I did with them, but I can just go to Home Depot and get a new plastic bucket for that. So yeah, we're doing the alternator in this video, and that's pretty much it, I guess. So let me get set up and we'll be right back. All right, so the first thing we need to do is loosen the bottom bolt of the alternator, which is right here. I think that's a 14. Let's see. It is. Not only do we need to loosen it, we need to remove it completely. Oh, let me get some light under there for you all. But we need to remove it completely because we need to remove remove the bolt that's holding it. Yep, you can see now. There ain't much room in here. Sorry if my fat arm is in the way. Now, most people will remove this from the bottom. I have never had any success of doing that unless I remove the axle, which we're not doing that. That's just stupid. Is that thing spinning in the back? Let me see if I can feel. No, it's not spinning. Removing the axle, that's a lot of work. So what I like to do is take it up from the top. You might ask yourself, how are you going to do that? Well, there's 2 bolts on the master cylinder. It is much easier to remove the 2 bolts on the master cylinder than it is to remove the lower control or the lower ball joint, the fork, and then the axle. It is way easier to do that. Alright, so we got that bolt loose. We need to punch it through. Let me go grab a hammer. Or I might be able to just use this. Alright, now you can reach in the back of it. Maybe not. Let me go grab a screwdriver. Just need something thin just to push the bolt out. Then you should be able to grab it. Grab it from the top maybe. There we go. We got it. So it should have this square end, and that keeps it from moving because there's a lip that catches the bolt. Keep it from spinning. Now we need to go to the top. Let's bring our light with us. All right, let's remove the power steering line. It'll just make things a little easier. I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt. I don't have to, but I want to because I want to pull this up out of the way. I'm going to remove the fuel line as well, or the fuel return. Again, not necessary, but it just makes the job a little easier. I think I need my needle nose pliers for the win. No, maybe not. Alright, so it's a couple days later. I don't know what happened between then and now, but so we've got this disconnected. We got our fuel return disconnected. We got our power steering hose moved back there, so we have access to the alternator. So we need to remove this bolt and this one. This one's a 14, that one's a 12. Can you see? Maybe, I don't know. 14, 12, and then we're able to remove the bracket and the alternator. Well, it'll be loose in there. Alright, so we got the alternator disconnected. It's just kind of like fumbling around in there. Most people, what they do is they take the axle out, or drop it from the bottom somehow. You turn the wheel a certain direction and it falls out, but I've never had any luck with that. So what I do is the screw, or the bolt here and the bolt over there, I just disconnect that and then pull this, pull it up, and then pull it to the side. That way I can just pull the alternator out. Well, let me set you up and I'll show you. If you haven't noticed already, my microphone quit working, so I'm relying on my microphone on my camera, which kind of sucks, so I'll probably voice over on some of this. Slowly bring it up, bend it over. Twist and turn, and there's the alternator. I mean, it's as simple as that. Easy peasy. Here's our new used alternator. So when you put it in, it's going to have, let's see if I can turn a light on. The bracket won't focus, will you? Alright, so right here, so right down there, this thing, that little sleeve right there, you have to knock it inward. That way you can slide the alternator in, because when you tighten the alternator down, this sleeve will push up against the alternator to make it tight. But if you bang that out, then it makes it much easier to slide your alternator in, because it kind of like pinches the alternator down in there. Alright, now you can see that it's pushed the other direction. So when you tighten the alternator down, that will pinch back. It just makes it easier to get your alternator in there. As you see here, I carefully move the master cylinder up out of the way. The lines are flexible enough to where you won't mess them up. Alright. Okay, our alternator's down in there. We can put this back in place. Well, I'm not going to bore you with reinstalling everything because I showed you how to uninstall it, and if you can uninstall it, you should be able to reinstall it. Alright, so we got everything back in order. Got that, our fuel return, our alternator all hooked up, connected, powered, our power steering line. We got everything back together. So we're going to start it up. Right now it is at 12:44. So I shut the car off because I realized that I did not tighten the alternator belt and it was squealing. So now I need to go ahead and tighten it up. Okay, here you can see it's charging, but I still feel like it's not charging fully. It should be like 14, I think. I don't know. This might be okay. It is charging. Alright, she's good. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what just happened. But either way, she runs. Well, the alternator is charging. That's what we're doing here today in this video. So I guess we're going to close it out here. Alright, well, the alternator is charging. Everything's good. I drove it around the block, but there's some issues with the brakes. They tend to like tighten up the further I go. So I headed up the block and I turned around real quick to get it back home. So the brakes need to be gone through. And there's an issue with the oil light comes on even though I have oil. So maybe the wiring or the oil pressure switch is bad. I don't know. This isn't the end of the Red Wagon story, but I need to get started on my daughter's car, so it's going to be the end for now. But there will be more content on the Red Wagon once I get my daughter's car back on the road. I guess that's the end of this video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all in the next video.